Yo, people, it's CB, and the 2026-2027 Serie A season, it's close. It's closing in on us here, and basically want to do some predictions here. I wanted to do some predictions on the Serie A season, where I believe we will see these teams end up. That's where that's what I'm gonna do right now, and I'm gonna go from 20 to 1, and I might do a little top score prediction in there as well, some other things. So yeah, let's get right into it here. Who do I think will finish last? I hope they finish last. They better finish last, and they will finish last. Lecce, despicable Italian club, terrible stadium. They don't play Italian players. They have like two in their whole squad, something stupid. Italian youth is terrible. They play terribly as well. It's just everything about that club. They need to go back to Serie B and reinvent themselves, hopefully. And if you want to come back up, you better come back up with something different because I just can't have them in my league, man. Lecce 20th, boom. 19, just my prediction, but I genuinely believe it'll be Monza. I don't know about Monza this season. I really don't. I don't know if they have it. I like some of the young players. They got Eddie Quadio at the back. They have, who else do they have? They have this Matis Moot in midfield. And I think they brought on some other just decent young players that I could go, oh, okay, I can get behind that. But I don't know about Monza. I really don't, if I'm being completely honest with you. Like if we go to FootMob here and we go to their squad real quick, where's Monza at? I mean, I don't know. Like again, it's like, yeah, eh, we're not working with much here. We're not working with much. Keita Balde's still there. It's 2026, by the way. So yeah, that's Monza. Frosinone just finishes 18th for me. I think they just go down. And I think they just go down because they didn't make much improvements to their start. They didn't make many improvements to their starting 11, to their squad. I think Venezia, who finished first, I think these two are very interchangeable. I'd actually probably rather Frosinone stay up, to be honest. They have some good young players and they play a lot of Italian players. But I think Venezia will just survive and Frosinone will go down. Unfortunately, I think two out of the three will go down. Lecce better go down. I hope they go down. I think Genoa will finish just about 16th. Actually, no, I think Genoa will finish 15th. I'm going to throw Cagliari in 16th. I think Cagliari, obviously, they lost Palestra, which is huge. Now, some actually have Cagliari as the relegation candidates. They're not sure how they're going to kick on, especially after losing Palestra. They might lose Sebastian Esposito. And if they lose Sebastian Esposito, I think they'll finish 18th. I think they will get relegated. And apparently, there's a good chance that might happen. So maybe I'll have to shift them down to 18th and slide Frosinone and Venezia up one. But I don't know. I just think they play really well as a team, and I like that club a lot. So this is more of a hope. I hope they avoid relegation again. But I'm gonna go Cagliari in 16th, Genoa in 15th. I actually like Genoa under De Rossi's second season. I think they, I think they're gonna kick on if they keep Norton Coffey, if Baldanzi grows into the role. They lost Ekator to Juventus, but for me, the striking options they're still fine. So yeah, Genoa in 15th. I don't think they'll be close to relegation battle, but I don't think they'll have the best of seasons. In 14, they actually have them 13 currently. 14, Parma. Parma will finish 14th. Carlos Cuesta, one of the youngest, if not, I actually think he is the youngest coach in the league. And I think out of Europe's top five leagues, he's up there. I mean, he's only 31 or 32. He's super young. Half the Serie A is older than Carlos Cuesta, but I think last year he showed he's a very tactically brilliant manager. He's from the school of Arteta, Arteta's first kind of disciple, if you want to call him that. And I think he plays a very defensive brand of football that will do well in Serie A, as shown in the first year. But I'm just not sure about how it'll translate in the second season. I think they've kept a decent amount of guys. I really like some of the transfers they brought in. Simon Lontani from AC Milan, the youngster, just scored a brace. But yeah, let's take a quick look at let's take a quick look here because I don't know about Parma. Where are they? Like if you look at their squad, Mandela Keita's good. They got to keep hold of Pellegrino. I think Pellegrino's the big thing. They got to keep hold of Pellegrino because if he leaves, he was their talisman this season. He's been linked to a move to Fiorentina and other clubs. If he leaves, they could be in trouble. They just lost Cercati as well, which is huge. So again, two could be two huge losses for Parma, which is why 14th could maybe go a 15 or even a 16. But I have them at 14 just because I really believe in Cuesta and I really believe their style of play will just grind out points simply. In 13th, I have no, I don't have Lazio. That's a bit too much. But in 13th, I have Torino. I think Torino, there'll be a fun watch Torino this year because they might have Cacciamani, unless he goes to Roma. They might have Cacciamani, the 19-year-old, kind of winger, wing back. He's more of a winger. And they might promote 18-year-old Andrea Luongo. He's been playing really well for them in preseason. So they might have some young Italians. They took on Comuzzo, the young defender, on loan from Fiorentina. They took him. So they got some young Italians, Torino, and I think under Abate, who's a good young promising coach, spent last season in Serie B. Now he gets the Serie A job for Torino. I think they could be one to watch this season. I think 13 is probably about right. Like again, they could be a bit lower. These teams from even 20, Lecce could stay up, but from 19 to 13, it's all kind of interchangeable for me. I would not be surprised. I mean, I don't think Torino will get relegated. I wouldn't be surprised. Um, I think 16, 17 could get relegated, but 13, 14, 15, those are all interchangeable for me. Okay. Next up, I have Udinese right above Torino. Udinese in 12th. Udinese are your typical 10th Italian team. They're always 10th. 10th. But for me, they lost Arthur Atta. I'm not sure how they're going to replace him. Maybe that Lennon Miller will grow into the role. I do like they have Matteo Palma as center back, the young 18-year-old, current German international. Hopefully, he switches back to Italy. He played for them briefly at the under 15 level. So yeah, Udinese under Costa Rungiaic. They had a good season last season for their standards. I'm not sure how they'll do this season. They'll probably be mid-table. That's Udinese. Next up, I have not Sassuolo. I actually have Bologna. I do not think Bologna will have a good season at all. I think 11th for Bologna. I think this is where they're trailing though. Back to that kind of mid-table team, top half of the table team. I think that's going to be Bologna, to be honest. And you know what? I want to put Lazio in 10th right away. Boom, I'm doing it. I think they'll have a terrible season. I think Gattuso will be sacked, and I think they'll bring in another dead manager that won't do much either. I could see Lazio finishing even 11th, right? So again, Lazio, Bologna, I think will finish 10th, 11th. You could put Bologna 10th. I'm going to put Lazio 10th for now. Again, both these teams are disappointing. I think Lazio are just scraping, they just keep falling downhill until, for me, Lotito needs to leave that club. And then Bologna as well. They had a good little run there under Motta. He got pipped by Juventus. A couple of their big players, they just lost Lucchini. And they've lost, I think they're going to lose Delinga. Have they lost Delinga? I'm not sure. But I'm just not sure about Bologna, man. I don't know about them. I don't know about them to be honest. They lost Castro as well. Castro went to Roma. Rowe. It'll be interesting to see if they keep Rowe. He's been linked to a move away. Good player by the way, that Rowe. Very good player. If they keep him, I think they'll do fine. I think this is honestly fine for them. They're not that European team anymore, in my opinion. I think they're done with that for a bit. They got to rebuild and go again. Who knows? I could be wrong. But I don't know. Especially since now Italiano's gone, it's Tedesco. It'll be interesting to see what they do. In ninth for me, this is where Sassuolo finishes ninth. That is very high for Sassuolo, ninth. I'm not sure where they finished last year. I think they actually did kind of around mid-table. But for me, I really like Aquilani. I really like Aquilani at Sassuolo. Obviously, it was Grosso last season. He did really well, got promoted to the Fiorentina job. Now it's Aquilani's turn. He did well last season for Catanzaro as the manager in Serie B. He now gets the Sassuolo gig. And I like Sassuolo. They lost a couple players. But if you look at Sassuolo, I like that. I like the brand of football they play. I like that. Yes, they lost. Who was it? Who did they lose at the back? The center back, the Bosnian, Muhamedovic. But this Macioni guy looks decent. Kone is going to miss a decent amount of time, so that's tough. But Loriente is still there. It looks like Pinamonti is still there. Berardi, Torsved, they didn't lose much. They don't lose much. Volpato looks like he's going to grow into a decent player. They got this young midfielder from France, Daryl Bakula. I think he joined last January, so I think Alkilani works well with young players. I think the young players develop. And I think this time next summer, a couple more of those young players will move to bigger clubs because Aquilani is good at that. He's good at developing the young players. In eighth is where I'm kind of like, I don't really know at eighth, but I think this is where Atalanta finish eighth. Yes, Atalanta finish eighth. I really like Fiorentina just ahead of them, and I think I'm going to touch on both these clubs. Atalanta didn't really do much in the transfer window, but I like that their team is stable, and I really like the Sarri appointment. I think Atalanta, they've always played good football. I really like Maurizio Sarri in there. And then Fiorentina as well. They were flirting with relegation last season. The ownership said enough is enough. We're gonna bring in some of the best young players like Arthur Atta, Christ Inai Olai. They brought in. I think they brought in someone else. They've got Federico Croce, born in 2010. They might promote him. I think they brought in Mastantuono on loan as well. So Fiorentina is going to be an interesting watch this season. I'm going to be watching a lot of Fiorentina. Yeah, you look at their transfers. Piccoli looks like, well, Piccoli is gone to Bologna. Matteo Pellegrino, okay, that is confirmed. Pellegrino to Fiorentina. I should be keeping up with this stuff, man. It's disappointing that I'm like this. But Mastantuono brought in on loan. I remember that. Joao Mario. So yeah, they've done decent business as well. You look at some of the incomings as well. Look at this. Jimenez, he had his issue at Bologna or at Bournemouth. I'm not really sure what that was. But Fiorentina brought him on loan. Dragusin's okay, not my biggest fan, but and then we have sixth. Sixth place for me is very interesting because I'm thinking, okay, Juventus, AC Milan, Como, Roma. What's happening here? For me, this is where Napoli finishes sixth. Allegri, meh, not his biggest fan. This is where he finishes sixth for me. They haven't done much in the transfer window. I don't know about Napoli. I don't know about Napoli, if I'm being completely honest with you. I really don't know about them. I just, it'll be interesting to see how they kick on. It'll be really interesting to see if McTominay can carry job. Maybe Alisson Santos can grow into an even bigger player for them this season. But I think sixth is where they'll be. I think they'll be a Conference League team next season. I'd be shocked if they make Champions League because I think these teams that I'll put above them will finish above them. In fifth, now this is some very surprising to some, but I was actually just about to go Como, but I think AC Milan will finish fifth. Yes, I think AC Milan will finish fifth. They had a huge transfer window, AC Milan. If you look who they brought in the likes. Who they brought in? AC Milan. Incomings. Diego Moreira on a huge deal, 45 million plus add-ons. Komoro and Camarda are two young Italians that have been promoted. Mario Hila was a smart signing. Modric obviously stayed contract extended. And then big boom, Gonzalo Ramos broke the transfer record. He joins. Alfonso Cisse could stay. He's a good young talent. So for me, they've spent a lot this window. If you look at who they've sold, there's just a couple players on loan, nothing much. But I just don't know about Amarim. I really don't know about Ruben Amarim. I'm not sure if he's the guy. Obviously, Man United, he's been getting slated over there. He actually beat them in preseason, Man United, Amarim. So he got his get back there. I don't know. I think they'll finish Europa League again. I think they're playing it in this season. I think they're going to play it in next season again because I think the four ahead will be much better, in my opinion. And then this is where I put Como in fourth. Now, Como fourth for me because I think the European competition, the Champions League, I think the Champions League will take a toll on them. Their squad isn't big enough yet to cope with it. I think Fabregas is incredible, but I think they'd actually do well to finish top four again. And if they do, watch out because now that's back-to-back seasons in the top four for a team that wants to spend money. They're super ambitious. They want to improve rapidly. So watch out. I think they'll finish fourth under Fabregas. Liberali, watch out for him, young Italian winger slash attacking midfielder. They brought him in. I think he'll do really well. Um, some of the younger guys as well, they're just going to keep getting better. That's the thing. The younger guys like Baturina, he's going to get better. Asin Diao, Jesus Rodriguez. They've got technical quality in midfield. You look at the defenders. Oh, Ramon is going to be a year better. So when they're building a young team, every year, usually the young players get better and better, more experienced, know the league, So I think Como will finish fourth, and I think Juventus will finish third because they're playing in the Europa League. They could probably rotate a little bit and focus more on the league. I think when Como, they're going to want to do well in the Champions League, and I think under Spalletti, I think they've had a decent window so far. Juventus with who they brought in, Alabegovic, Lucchini's a big one. Ekator's a young striker. And I think they might make one more move. They got rid of Di Gregorio. I'm not Vicario's biggest fan. I don't rate him whatsoever. But that being said, he's better than Di Gregorio. So they technically got an upgrade there, even though it's not much of an upgrade. I think they'll finish above Como. I could see Como finishing third, Juventus fourth. But then again, I could see Como finishing fifth or sixth, and I could see Napoli finishing fourth. These are my predictions, but again, this is just what I think. This is just what I believe. But again, all of this could switch. Roma second. I think Roma have done really well in the transfer window. I think they have. I really like the addition of Castro. Then they've got him with Malin up top as your strikers. Um, What else did Roma do? I'm pretty sure they've done some other business as well. Gasparini, second season. I think he'll have that team purring as well. They just signed Rodrigo Mora. That's who it was. Good young talent from Porto. Um, who else did they bring in? Naho Molina, not his biggest fan, but that Kouliakis, this guy's a top center back. So they've had a decent window. They extended some contracts. They let some deadwood go, and I think they'll compete. Not for the league. I think Inter will walk the league, and I guess I'll just touch on Inter now. I think they'll finish first. I think they'll walk the league again. I'm not an Inter fan myself, but I think Inter fans. I think this could be a good year for you because I think the league will be comfortable, and I think you can make a deep run in the Champions League. I think the squad has been refreshed really nicely. I love the three English editions with Spence, Stones, and Curtis Jones is now a here we go as well. You got some good young players you could promote. Yeah, I think Inter will do well this year. I think Inter will have a good season. Second season under Kivu. I think some of their younger players that they bought last season, like Sucic, obviously Pio was promoted. I think they'll be even better this season. Kivu's second season, right after winning the league. He kind of doesn't. He has pressure on him, but he won the league last season, so I think they'll walk the league. To be completely honest with you, and then that puts them with their mind focused on the Champions League, which I hope for Italian football they make another deep run. They've been carrying us in Europe recently, and hopefully that continues because I believe they're all we have in Europe. Roma, Como, and who else is in Champions League? Napoli. We'll see what they can do, but I'm banking on Inter. I think they'll win the league. That's my Serie A title table predictions from 20 to 1. Quick golden boot. I'm gonna go Lautaro Martinez. I think last season it wasn't even his best season. He still had a decent amount of goals. I think this season he'll be better. Um, I think first manager to be sacked is Di Francesco at Lecce. I think they'll start off poorly. They have some issues there at the club as well with Banda as well. I'm not sure what's happening there. I think he'll be sacked. Um, and yeah, those are quick little additional predictions there. Let me know what you guys think. Who's getting relegated? Who's finishing top four? Who's winning the league? If it's not Inter. And let me know signing of the season as well, flop of the season. I'm not really sure on my signing of the season or flop of the season. I haven't really taken too much of a deep dive into that. I'm going to make some videos moving forward in the coming days about Italians to look out for. Some of the best Italian players to watch this season. Maybe some Italians that made big transfers as well. Um, Italians you should be investing your stocks in, stuff like that. More Italian focused, but based on the league and Serie A. Let me know which players you think will do well. And yeah, comment down below those. Like, subscribe for more videos like these. And I'll see you on the next one. Easy.